In this video, I will show you how to average numbers if the criteria cells are equal to X or Y value in Excel like this. So let's get started. In this Excel sheet, I have some order details including order number, order item and the order amount. Now I want to calculate the average order amount if the order item is either an apple or an orange. Usually, we use the average ifs function to calculate the average when we need to apply multiple criteria or conditions to the data. However, the problem is that the average ifs function uses the AND logic to apply the conditions. That means that all the conditions must be true. For example, this average ifs formula averages the amount having two conditions. First, the item is equal to apple and second, the item is equal to orange. However, we get an error as a result because the conditions are applied using the AND logic and an item cannot be apple and orange both. What I want to do is to average the amounts if the item is either an apple or an orange. One way to do that is to use the average ifs function twice. One comparing the item with an apple and another comparing with an orange, and then calculate the average of the both. Let's start the formula by typing an equal sign in the target cell. Now type average followed by an opening bracket. Let's first get the average of the cells if the item is an apple using the average ifs function. To do that, I am going to use the amount cells as the average range argument, items as the criteria range argument and apple as the third criteria argument. Now I will get the average of the order amounts if the item is an orange by copying the average ifs function and changing the criteria argument to orange like this. Type the closing bracket of the average function and press the enter key to complete the formula. As you can see, we now have the average of numbers if the item is either of these two. Since we are applying only one condition at a time, we can also use the average if function instead of the average ifs function to calculate the average like this. Both of these solutions are not practical if there are more than a couple of conditions, because in that case the formula becomes unnecessarily big and complicated. So I am going to utilize the array to apply multiple or conditions in the same average ifs function. Here is the formula to do that. Here I have created an array having apple and orange as elements, and then I have specified this array as the criteria argument of the average ifs function. When we specify an array as the criteria, the average ifs function also returns an array as a result instead of a single average value. In this case, it returns an array containing two elements. First element is the average order amount of the apple and second, the average order amount of orange. Since this average ifs function is specified as an argument of the average function, the average function calculates the average of the elements of this array and returns the result as 10. As you can see, we now have the average of the amounts if the item is equal to either X or Y. Watch these videos for more Excel tips, tricks and how-to tutorials. If you find this video useful, please like the video and subscribe to our channel.